Are you tired of setting goals that never seem to last? You write them down, feel excited for a few days, and then nothing. You slip back into the same routines, feeling stuck and frustrated. What if the problem isn't your effort or your discipline? What if the real issue is the way you've been told to chase success? In this video, you're going to learn a better way. A system that actually fits your life, helps you stay consistent, and moves you forward without relying on constant motivation. You'll find out how to design daily actions that keep working, even on your worst days. You'll learn how to stay on track when life throws changes at you. If you're serious about building something that lasts, something that helps you feel proud day after day, this isn't just a video to watch, it's a path you can follow. Stick with me. This could change everything. Number 1, build daily routines that support your bigger vision. You know, one of the greatest decisions a person can make in their life is to stop living on autopilot and start creating a life on purpose. And that's not just about setting big goals, writing them down, and hoping one day they come true. No, that's just a dream written on paper. What really moves the needle, what really creates lasting change, is building daily routines that are tied to a bigger vision. If your life is not what you want it to be, it's not because you're lacking potential. It's not because you're not smart enough or disciplined enough. It's because the structure you live inside, your systems, your routines, your behaviors, they're not aligned with where you want to go. And if your routines don't support the person you're trying to become, then it doesn't matter how inspired you are right now or how detailed your goal is. You'll fall back into old patterns. That's why systems matter more than goals. And that's why building daily routines that support your bigger vision will change your life permanently. Think about it. The person who wants to become healthy doesn't need to chase the number on the scale. They need to build a routine of moving their body, fueling themselves with real food, sleeping well, managing stress. That becomes a system. You do it enough days in a row and your body starts to change. Your energy lifts, your mind clears, your confidence rises. Not because you had a goal, but because you built a daily system around the person you want to be. So if you've got a big dream, a career you want, a relationship you're chasing, a version of yourself you know you could become, then stop staring at the dream and start asking, what does that version of me do every day? What time does that person wake up? What do they eat? What do they focus on when nobody's watching? What kind of people are they around? What kind of content are they feeding their mind? What actions do they take when life is hard? Answer those questions honestly. Then make those answers your daily routine. That's how you change. Most people fail, not because they don't try hard enough, but because they only try when they feel like it. And motivation comes and goes. But a system, a routine, that's something you build with your hands day after day. You build it with your decisions, your discipline, your value. When it's strong enough, it works for you even on the days you don't feel strong. Every successful person you look up to has systems. They have daily rituals, habits, behaviors that keep them grounded, focused, and in motion. They don't rely on willpower alone. They design their life in a way that supports their long-term direction. That's what you need to do. It starts with awareness. Take a real look at how you're living now, not how you want to live, not what you tell people. Look at what you actually do on a regular day. That's your real system. That's the structure that's shaping your future, whether you like it or not. Now ask yourself, does this structure support the vision I have for my life? If the answer is no, then something has to change. And that something is not out there. It's not the world. It's not the people around you. It's not your environment. It's you. You have to take full responsibility and start building better routines. Start small. You don't need to overhaul your whole life overnight. You just need to change what you do repeatedly. Choose one action that aligns with your bigger vision and do it every day. Maybe it's writing for 20 minutes. Maybe it's putting your phone away after 8 p.m. Maybe it's drinking more water or reading 10 pages of a good book. Make it part of your system. Make it so easy you can't skip it. Then let it grow from there. Consistency matters more than intensity. You can go all out for a week and burn out, or you can show up every day with small steps and build a foundation that lasts. That's what daily routines are. They're your foundation. And if you build them right, they can carry you through every season of life. And listen, life will get hard. Things will go wrong. You'll face stress, disappointment, maybe even loss. That's when your routines matter the most. That's when you need something steady to hold on to. That's when you fall back on what you've built, not what you wish for. You see, routines don't just help you move forward. They protect you. They give you a rhythm, a structure, something predictable in a world that is often unpredictable. And that structure gives you peace. It gives you clarity. It gives you power. So build routines that give you more energy, not less. Build routines that make you proud of yourself, not ashamed. Build routines that bring you closer to your highest self, not keep you stuck in the past. Because when your daily actions reflect your bigger vision, you start to live with alignment. And when you live with alignment, you feel alive. You won't need to force motivation. You won't need to chase validation. You'll wake up knowing your day has purpose. You'll go to sleep knowing you used your time well. That's a deep kind of fulfillment. And it comes not from setting perfect goals, but from building powerful systems. Now is the time to stop living in reaction and start living with direction. You don't have to figure out your whole life today. You don't have to map out the next 10 years, but you do have to take control of your next day. You do have to own the next choice you make, and the next one, the one after that. That's how systems are built. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one moment of discipline at a time. And before you know it, your routines become your life, and your life starts to look like the vision you've been dreaming of. So today, stop talking about change and start building it. Choose routines that move you forward. Choose habits that build you up. Choose structure that serves the person you know you can be. You don't have to wait for the right time. You don't need anyone's permission. You just need to decide that your life is worth building on purpose. And if you do that, if you build daily routines that support your bigger vision, you'll find that the future starts to feel less like a question and more like a decision you've already made. You'll stop chasing your dream and start living it. And that's a life worth building. If you want to change your life in a lasting way, you must build habits that stay alive even when your energy doesn't. That's where real strength comes from. Not from being pumped up all the time, but from learning how to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. You can feel fired up today and exhausted tomorrow. You can feel focused in the morning and distracted by the afternoon. You can be inspired after hearing something powerful but lose that fire by the end of the week. So if your progress depends on being motivated, you're in trouble. What lasts is not how you feel. What lasts is what you do, no matter how you feel. The secret is to create habits that are so clear, so locked in, so automatic, that they keep running even when you're tired, busy, stressed, or unmotivated. Because those days will come. Life will not always go your way. And on those days, you need something to rely on. That's what habits are for. They take the decision-making out of it. They remove the emotion. They don't wait for the perfect conditions. They just get done. Habits are not born from hype. They're built through structure. That means giving yourself a time, a place, a rule. You wake up and do it because it's time, not because you feel like it. You follow through because it's part of who you are now, not because it's fun today. The action becomes the anchor, even when the weather in your mind changes. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up excited to do it, but you do it anyway. It's automatic. It's part of your identity. You don't negotiate with yourself. You don't skip it because you had a bad night. You just do it. That's how your habits need to be. Unshakable. No debate. No drama. So how do you create habits like that? You start by making them simple enough to succeed at even on your worst days. If your habit is too complicated, too long, or too difficult, it won't survive, and your motivation drops. But if it's simple, clear, and realistic, you can keep it alive even when you're not at your best. You also need to repeat it enough times that it becomes part of you. Not something you're forcing, but something that feels like home. That takes time. It takes patience. It takes choosing the habit over and over, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching, even when nothing's changing. Because the real change is happening inside. You're building discipline. You're building reliability. You're proving to yourself that you follow through. And once your brain gets used to that habit, it becomes the default. You start to feel uncomfortable when you skip it. You start to feel off when you break the rhythm. That's when you know the habit has taken root. Now it's running even when your motivation is. Now it's doing the heavy lifting for you. Don't aim to do something perfect once. Aim to do something solid 100 times. Build consistency, not excitement. Build rhythm, not drama. When you master this, you unlock something powerful. You stop depending on hype and start depending on your system. And when you miss a day, and you will, you don't fall apart. You don't beat yourself up. You simply get back to it the next day. Because your identity is not based on a single day of performance. It's built on the pattern you keep returning to. Missing once doesn't break you, quitting does. So don't quit. Track your habits. Know when they happen. Know why they matter. Build rewards into your process so you stay emotionally connected. Remind yourself of what's at stake. Make the habit easier to do than to skip. Design your environment so the habit is always within reach. Put visual cues in front of you. Make distractions harder to reach. Do everything you can to make your good habits convenient and your bad habits difficult. That's strategy. That's design. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. So build habits that catch you when you fall. Build habits that keep you on track when life is overwhelming. Build habits that remind you of your worth when your mind is filled with doubt. That's what matters. There will be days when your energy is low, days when your mind is filled with noise, days when you feel defeated. But if your habits are alive, you're not starting from zero. You're still in the game. You're still making progress. Even if it's slow, it's still forward, and that matters more than you know. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent enough for long enough that the habit becomes your new normal. That takes courage, that takes honesty, that takes building a life where the basics are non-negotiable, where the fundamentals don't disappear just because you don't feel great, where your values are stronger than your moods. That's the person you want to become. Not someone who needs to feel amazing every day, but someone who honors their commitments even on hard days. Someone who keeps going when it's easier to stop. Someone who trusts themselves to follow through. You don't need more motivation. You need better systems. You need solid habits. You need to wake up and do what matters, not because it's fun, but because it's right. That's where confidence comes from. Not from talking big, but from doing small things consistently. And here's the truth. Every time you act without motivation, you build self-respect. Every time you follow through when you don't want to, you gain strength. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you take control back. That's how transformation works. Quiet, real, lasting. So today, stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Build habits that move forward, with or without your mood. Show up. Do the work. Let the habit carry you when your feelings won't. You'll be amazed at how far you go. Not because you felt great, but because you kept showing up. And if you do that long enough, you'll look back one day and realize you've built something most people never have. A life that doesn't need hype to keep moving. A life with momentum. A life with structure. A life that works even on the hardest days. That is stress, and that's available to you, starting today. Number 3, focus on showing up every single day consistently. If you want to win in life, you have to become the kind of person who shows up every single day, no matter what. Not just when it's exciting, not only when it's easy, every single day. Because the truth is, real progress doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. The people who build something meaningful are not the ones who sprint once in a while. They're the ones who keep walking forward even when it's slow, even when it's hard, even when nobody's clapping. Every day you show up, you build momentum. Every day you take action, you make yourself stronger. And every day you keep going, you separate yourself from the crowd. Most people want the results. Few want the routine. They want the rewards, but not the repetition. That's why most people never get what they truly want. They wait until they feel like it. They wait for the mood to strike. But your future doesn't care how you feel. It's shaped by what you do. And that's why showing up matters more than anything. You don't need to be the best. You don't need to know everything. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to be the person who refuses to disappear. The one who wakes up and takes action no matter what's going on. That's the mindset that creates real change. You want to get in shape? Show up every day. You want to build a business? Show up every day. You want to improve your relationships? Show up every day. You want to become disciplined? Show up every day. It's not about giant leaps. It's about being there when it counts. And it always counts. Showing up doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It means doing something. It means staying connected to your mission. It means reminding yourself why you started and refusing to lose that fire. Just because life gets messy. Because life will get messy. You will get tired. You will have doubts. You will face setbacks. But those don't stop the people who keep showing up. The world respects the person who's still standing after the excitement wears off. The one who's still putting in the work when the room is empty. That kind of person is dangerous. That kind of person can't be stopped. Because once you build that level of commitment, you're no longer relying on willpower. You've built character. You've built focus. You've built resilience. And that happens only through repetition. One day at a time, one action at a time, not once a week, not when you feel inspired. Even the smallest action done daily adds up. A page written every day becomes a book. A workout every day becomes a stronger body. A moment of focus every day becomes a sharper mind. And it all starts by deciding you won't miss. You won't skip. You won't vanish. Just because it's hard, you don't have to do it all at once. You just have to show up. When you're tired, show up. When you're overwhelmed, show up. When you're doubting yourself, show up. Because the act of showing up, even when it's tough, is what makes you different. It builds your identity. It reminds you that you're not the kind of person who quits. Think of the people who've reached greatness. They weren't born with more than you. They just stayed in the game longer. They pushed through the boring days. They kept going when others gave up. They built systems that kept them on track. They knew that real growth doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. This world is full of people who talk about what they want. What's rare are those who do what it takes. Not once, not twice, but for weeks, for months, for years. The ones who show up even when no one's watching. That's where your edge is. That's where transformation lives. Consistency builds trust not just with others, but with yourself. Every day you show up, you send yourself a message. I keep my word, I follow through, I'm not a quitter. And when you live like that, your confidence grows. Your belief in yourself becomes unshakable. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present. You keep showing up. You need to understand this. Every day you skip is a day you break the chain. It's a day you train yourself to ignore your commitment. And if you do that too often, you start to lose faith yourself. That's a hard place to come back from. But when you stack days, when you build streaks, when you keep showing up, you feel powerful. You feel in control. You build the kind of inner strength that can't be faked. It doesn't have to be glamorous. It doesn't have to be loud. Some of the most important days are the quiet ones. The days where no one gives you credit. The days where it feels like nothing is changing. But those days count more than you think. Because every day you show up, you put another brick down. And eventually those bricks turn into a foundation. That foundation holds you up when life tests you. You might not see progress every day, but you are growing. You are evolving. You are changing from the inside out. And that's the kind of growth that lasts. It's not temporary. It doesn't fade because you've earned it. You've worked for it. You showed up for it. People want success without the effort, but effort is the price, and the currency is consistency. If you want to be proud of yourself, not just for a moment, but for a lifetime, you need to be able to say, I kept going. I didn't quit. I showed up. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to be there every day, doing what matters, doing what makes you stronger, doing what takes you closer to your vision. That's what makes you powerful. And when you show up enough times, you change. You become more than you were. You develop skills. You gain experience. You build habits. You stop depending on chance and start depending on yourself. You stop sissing and start creating. You stop waiting for things to happen and start making them happen. That's the reward of consistency. So if you're tired of starting over, stop quitting. If you want real change, stop disappearing. If you want results, stop waiting to feel ready. Start showing up every single day. No excuses, no shortcuts, no exceptions. And one day when you look back, you'll realize that it wasn't the massive leaps that built your future. It was the daily discipline, the small actions, the unshakable decision to keep showing up. That's what changed everything. So get up tomorrow and show up again. And the next day, and the next, that's how you win. That's how you lead yourself. That's how you build a life you're proud of. Keep showing up every single day. Number 4, track your actions, not just your end goals. If you're serious about changing your life, you must stop obsessing over outcomes and start tracking your actions. The people who move forward in life are not just the ones who dream big or set goals. They are the ones who measure what they're doing every day to move toward those goals. You can't improve what you're not aware of, and you won't stay consistent if you're not honest about how you're showing up. Goals are important, but they're not enough. Goals show you where you want to go. Actions show you how far you've come. Without tracking your actions, you're guessing. You're assuming you're on the right path. But assumptions don't build results. Evidence does. And the only way to create that evidence is to track what you do. Day after day with full honesty and zero excuses. You can have the most inspiring goal in the world, but if you're not taking the actions to support it and tracking them, then that goal is just a fantasy. You say you want to get healthier. Don't just weigh yourself once a month. Track how often you move. Track what you're eating. Track your sleep. You say you want to grow a business. Don't just stare at your revenue. Track how many people you reached out to today. Track how many hours you actually worked on building something real. You say you want to be more disciplined. Don't just imagine it. Track how often you choose the hard thing over the easy one. This is about being accountable to yourself. Not to impress anyone, not to post it online, just to know deep down that you're actually doing the work, that you're not just hoping, you're proving. That's where growth begins. There's something powerful about looking at a page and seeing your actions laid out in front of you. Not what you intended to do, not what you told yourself you'd do, what you actually did. That truth keeps you grounded. That truth keeps you focused. That truth removes the fog. You stop guessing and you start seeing clearly. Tracking gives you clarity. It tells you if your system is working. It tells you if your habits are sticking. It tells you if you're drifting off course before it's too late. And once you know the truth, you can fix what's broken. You can double down on what's working. You can make better decisions, not based on emotion, but based on facts. Most people avoid tracking because they don't want to face reality. But avoiding reality doesn't protect you. It keeps you stuck. The people who grow are not the ones who avoid feedback. They're the ones who invite it. They want to know where they stand. They want to know what needs work, as they care more about progress than comfort. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a fancy system. You don't need an app or spreadsheet. You can use a notebook. You can use a whiteboard. You can use anything that works. What matters is that you make it a habit to track what you do every day. Not once a week, not once a month, every single day, because that's how patterns form. And once you see the patterns, you can control them. You start to notice the truth. Maybe you thought you were eating healthy all week, but you only did it for 3 days. Maybe you thought you were working hard, but you spent half your time distracted. Maybe you believed you were consistent, but the numbers say otherwise. That's not a failure. That's a gift. That's the kind of truth that allows you to get better. Tracking also builds momentum. When you see progress, even if it's small, it fuels you. It gives you confidence. You start to feel like, yes, I'm doing it. I'm becoming who I said I would be. That feeling is priceless. It's not based on a big breakthrough. It's based on dozens of little wins that you can see, touch, count. That proof becomes your power. When you miss a day, when you fall off track, which you will, you don't spiral. You don't make excuses. You don't throw it all away. You just look at the data. You see what happened, you make adjustments, and you keep going. Because tracking teaches you that one bad day doesn't ruin everything. It's just one dot on the map. It's the trend that matters, not the glitch. The best performers in any field track their progress. Athletes, writers, musicians, leaders, they all know that performance improves when it's measured. You can't fix what you don't notice. You can't grow what you don't track. That's not pressure. That's structure. That's how you stay in control. You don't need to track everything, but you do need to track the actions that matter most. Pick the few key behaviors that move you forward. Focus on those. Track them every day. Make it simple. Make it visual. Make it real. You want it to be so clear that at the end of the day, you can say one of two things: I did it or I didn't. No story, no drama, just truth, just action. This kind of honesty transforms you, because now you're not just reacting to how you feel. You're responding to what's real. That's a different kind of power. That's where self-discipline grows. That's how you build consistency. That's how you stay aligned with your long-term vision. You have to stop waiting for results to tell you if you're on the right path. Start using your actions as the proof. If you're doing the right things daily, the results will come. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, but they will come, because action compounds, but only if it's consistent. So from today, stop just thinking about the outcome. Focus on the steps. Focus on what you can control. Focus on whether or not you did what you said you would do. That's the real test. That's the real measure of progress. Most people quit because they can't see what's happening. Tracking removes the guesswork. It shows you the truth. And once you can see the truth, you don't have to fear it. You can use it. You can grow from it. You can make smarter choices. You can move forward with confidence, not confusion. And here's what happens when you track your actions long enough. You start to fall in love with the process. You stop needing constant rewards. You stop chasing validation. You start enjoying the structure. You start finding pride in the fact that you're doing what most people won't. That pride builds belief. That belief builds progress. That progress builds everything else. So start today. Write down what you want to track. Be clear. Be honest. Keep it simple. Then follow through. Every day. No matter what. It won't be perfect. But it will be real. And real always wins in the end. Track your actions. Own your progress. Build your future. One honest day at a time. Number 5. Design a system that fits your real lifestyle. If you want to succeed long-term, you must stop forcing your life into systems that don't fit you and start designing systems that match who you really are. You don't need a perfect plan from a book. You don't need to copy what someone else is doing. You need a system that actually fits your time, your energy, your values, your responsibilities, your strengths, and your reality. Because if your system doesn't match your real life, you won't stick to it. And if you can't stick to it, you'll keep starting over. That cycle ends when you finally create a system that works with you, not against you. Too many people build systems around how they wish they lived, instead of how they actually live. They create routines for their ideal self, but ignore the challenges they face daily. They create plans that require them to be at their best every day. And when they're not, they break down and feel like failures. The problem isn't them. The problem is that the system was never built to survive real life. You have to be honest. Are you designing a system based on what you hope happens, or based on what actually happens? Do you build a morning routine assuming you'll always get 8 hours of sleep and wake up smiling? Your system should support your growth while respecting your limits. It should challenge you, not punish you. It should keep you grounded, not overwhelmed. That balance matters. You are a human being, not a robot. You have emotions. You have unexpected events. You have responsibilities beyond your goals, and your system should account for all of that. Not just the good days, but the hard ones too. Start with what's real. How many hours do you actually have? What drains your energy? What gives you energy? When do you feel most focused? When do you feel most distracted? These are not random questions. They are the building blocks of a system that actually works for you. If you build your system on fantasy, it will fail. But if you build it on truth, it will last. Start by identifying the non-negotiables in your life. What are the things you must deal with every day, no matter what? Then build around them. If you're a parent, build around your family. If you're a student, build around your classes. If you work long hours, build around your shifts. Don't ignore reality. Use it as the foundation for your system. Then identify the windows of time you can actually control. Maybe it's the first 30 minutes of your morning. Maybe it's your lunch break. Maybe it's 1 hour before bed. These windows are your power zones. Use them with intention. Don't waste them. Design small, effective habits that fit inside them and build momentum. You don't need massive blocks of time. You need focused, repeatable action. Your system should also account for your energy levels. You might not be able to do the same thing every day at the same intensity. That's okay. Build flexibility into your system. For high energy days, have a full version of your routine. For low energy days, have a lighter version that still keeps you on track. This way you never fall off. You just shift gears and keep moving. Don't try to fix everything at once. Choose one area of your life where you feel stuck or overwhelmed. Then ask yourself, what system could I build that would make this easier, more repeatable, and less emotional? Systems remove emotion from decision-making. They help you do the right thing without needing to think about it every time. That's what gives you power. Make your system visible. Write it down. Post it somewhere you can see it. Track it. Make it real. When you see it in front of you, it becomes something to follow, not something to remember. Don't keep it in your head. Your brain has enough to deal with. Let your system do the heavy lifting and be willing to adjust. Your life will change. Your responsibilities will shift. Your energy will go up and down. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign to refine. Your system is a living structure. It grows with you. It evolves. You don't get it perfect the first time. You start, you test, you tweak. That's how you find what actually works. The biggest mistake people make is assuming they're the problem. When a system fails, they blame themselves. They think they lack discipline. But often the system was just unrealistic. It was built on someone else's life, not their own. You are not broken. You just need a system that fits your life. And when you have that, everything changes. You stop feeling overwhelmed, you stop quitting, you stop bouncing between extremes. You start feeling capable. You start gaining traction. You start showing up because it feels doable. And when it feels doable, you do it. Not once, not twice, but daily. A good system doesn't rely on motivation. It relies on design. It relies on smart decisions made in advance. Decisions that remove friction. Decisions that lower the resistance. Decisions that align with your rhythm, your values, and your reality. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to stop pretending you can live like someone else. You just need to stop building castles in the sky and start building a system on solid ground. Something that can handle your real life, your real schedule, your real energy. That's what lasts. You deserve a system that helps you win, not wear you down. A system that gives you space to breathe, to grow, to evolve, and you don't have to find it in a book or a podcast. You create it by listening to your own life. You create it by respecting where you are and building from there. Start now. Look at your life. Look at what's working. Look at what's getting in your way. Then design something that supports you, not something that punishes you, something that helps you keep going, not something that breaks down under pressure. That's how you win long term. That's how you make real progress. That's how you build a life you can be proud of. And once you have a system that fits your real lifestyle, everything becomes clearer. The path becomes smoother. You start building real confidence. Not because you're forcing it, but because it fits. Because it's sustainable. Because it works. And when something works, you keep going. When you keep going, you change everything. Number 6, stick to small wins that build real momentum. If you feel stuck or overwhelmed, don't try to conquer everything at once. Just win small today. Big changes don't start with big moves. They start with one small action, done well and done often. You don't need to do everything to build momentum. You just need to do one thing right and then repeat that success. One small win today creates a ripple effect for tomorrow. And if you keep stacking those wins, day after day, everything starts to shift. Most people wait for a breakthrough moment. They want the big result, the dramatic transformation, the overnight success. But the truth is, nothing real works that way. Progress is not a result of massive effort. Once in a while, it's the result of steady, small wins. Done consistently. You don't need to go viral. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to make progress you can feel. Small wins are powerful because they are manageable. They're not scary. They don't overwhelm you. They are doable. You can achieve them even when life is hard, even when you're tired, even when your motivation is low. And when you achieve one, you feel it. You feel like you've taken control. You feel like you've done something that matters. And that's where real confidence comes from. Not from thinking about success, but from earning it, one small step at a time. When you focus only on the end result, it's easy to feel like you're failing. You start comparing where you are to where you want to be, and the gap feels too big. But when you focus on the next small win, suddenly it feels possible. You're no longer trying to climb the entire mountain in a day. You're just taking the next step. And that step is enough, because steps add up, and those steps build momentum. Momentum is everything. Once you have it, you feel unstoppable. But to get it, you must lower the bar, not your standards, your entry point. Make it easy to win today. Make it so simple that it's harder to fail than to succeed. If you want to start working out, don't commit to an hour at the gym, commit to 5 minutes. If you want to eat healthier, don't change your whole diet. Add one healthy meal. If you want to write a book, don't write a chapter, write one paragraph. Then do it again tomorrow, then again the next day. The power is not in how big the win is. The power is in the fact that you did it. You followed through. You honored your commitment. That action changes you. It starts to shift your identity. You stop thinking like someone who's stuck, and you start thinking like someone who takes action. That mindset fuels your next move. And that's how the momentum grows. People often wait for the perfect moment to take action. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until everything lines up. But momentum doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing, and doing something small today beats waiting for something big tomorrow, every time. The small win also gives you feedback. It teaches you something. It gives you a result. It shows you what works. And when you learn from that, you can adjust and get better. Big plans don't give you that. Big dreams don't give you that. Action gives you that, even small action. And when you commit to small wins every day, something changes in your emotions. You stop beating yourself up. You stop doubting yourself so much. You start feeling capable again. You start rebuilding that inner trust. You start waking up with a little more energy. Not because your life has magically changed, but because you've changed the way you respond to your life. Small wins are also sustainable. You don't burn out from 5 minutes of effort. You don't crash after writing a few lines. You don't need willpower to eat one good meal. And because it's sustainable, it sticks. You start building a routine around it. You start relying on it. That's when it becomes a system. And that's when the transformation becomes permanent. Stop underestimating what you can do today. Stop ignoring the impact of one small step, because that step could be the turning point. That small win could be the moment that breaks the cycle of inaction. That choice to move instead of overthink could be the decision that changes everything. You don't need to feel inspired to earn a win. You don't need a fresh start or a clean slate. You just need to decide right now that you'll do something, one thing that moves you forward. Not next week, not when life calms down. Now, and if you don't know where to start small and start real. Choose one habit, one task, one behavior. Make it clear, make it measurable, make it something you can complete without question. And check it off. Feel the win, let it sink in. That feeling is momentum. Hold on to it, use it again tomorrow. This is how you build long-term change without pressure. You're not trying to force success. You're letting it grow step by step. You're stacking your effort. You're showing up in a way that's realistic and repeatable. That's how winning becomes normal. That's how growth becomes natural. Eventually, small wins lead to bigger wins. The 5-minute workout turns into 20. The single healthy meal becomes a new lifestyle. The paragraph becomes a book. The small conversations turn into new relationships. It all starts with doing something, however small, and doing it well. Don't ignore the power of momentum just because it feels slow. The most powerful things in your life will not happen in a rush. They'll happen because you kept moving when it was tempting to stop. They'll happen because you chose to win today instead of waiting for tomorrow. They'll happen because you didn't let the size of your dream stop the size of your effort. So if you feel stuck, stop thinking and start acting. Start with a win you can reach. One win, then get another one, and another. Build that rhythm, build that belief, build that momentum. And soon, you won't just be hoping for change. You'll be living it. That's how you take back control. That's how you break through self-doubt. That's how you build something solid. One small win at a time. One step done well. One move that proves to yourself that you are still in the game. No more waiting. No more wishing. No more pressure to be perfect. Just start winning. Start now. Start small. Start strong. And never stop. Because small wins create big changes. And that change starts with you. Number 7, choose actions you can control every single time. You take back your power the moment you stop chasing what you can't control and start acting on what you can. Life is unpredictable. People change. Plans fall apart. The world won't always respond the way you want it to. But your actions, those belong to you. You own them. And when you put your energy into what you can actually influence, you stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the builder of your life. Most people waste so much time stressing about things that are outside their reach. They wait for approval. They worry about timing. They fear what others might think. But none of those things are in their control. And if your focus lives there, then your power is always in someone else's hands. That's no way to live. That's no way to grow. If you want to change your life, shift your attention to the one thing that no one can take from you. Your next move. You get to decide if you show up or stay still. You get to decide if you keep your word or make excuses. You get to decide if you work on yourself today or wait another year. No one else can give or take that away. The decision is always yours. And when you start living from that place where your life is the result of your actions, not your wishes, you become stronger, calmer, and more focused. There's something powerful about doing what's in your control every day. Even when the situation is tough, even when others aren't showing up, even when you don't feel like it. When you follow through on what you can control, you start to respect yourself more. You build trust in yourself. You stop needing motivation because you start relying on discipline. And that shift is what separates those who talk about change from those who actually live it. Control isn't about being rigid. It's about being responsible. It's about being honest with yourself and asking, what can I do today that's real, that's mine, that moves me forward? Some days that might be a full day of work. Other days it might just be keeping your mind clear. Either way it counts, because you chose it. You didn't drift through the day. You directed it. There's no secret to consistency. It comes down to choosing the same actions over and over, especially when it's not convenient. It's making the call even when you're nervous. It's writing the page even when the words don't come easy. It's having the tough conversation even when it's uncomfortable. The win isn't in the result. It's in the fact that you did what you said you'd do. That's what creates momentum. That's what builds character. Every day you're faced with dozens of small decisions, and each one is a chance to take control or give it away. You can wake up on time or hit snooze. You can focus on the task or scroll through distractions. You can speak with purpose or fall into silence. These choices may seem small, but over time they define your life. They add up, they shape your future. And the more you choose actions that are within your control, the more powerful your life becomes. People often ask how to stay motivated. The truth is, motivation fades. What stays is your ability to act regardless of how you feel. You won't always feel confident. You won't always feel ready. But you can always choose to take the next step that's in your hands. And when you train yourself to act through doubt, fear, or fatigue, you stop waiting for the right mood and start creating the right movement. Don't tie your progress to things you can't command. Don't wait for the economy to change, the schedule to clear, the people around you to support you. Focus on what's yours to move. Your habits, your mindset, your effort, your attitude, those are more than enough to make a difference. And the more you rely on them, the less you need the world to be perfect in order to move forward. You won't always see the outcome you want right away. That's okay. What matters most is that you are acting with intention, that your actions match your values, that you are choosing to lead your life. Just react to it. When you do that day after day, even the hard seasons have purpose. Even the setbacks become lessons. And even the waiting has weight. Not everything needs to be controlled. Let go of what isn't yours to manage. People's opinions, not your job. The outcome of every effort, not your job. The weather, the news, the reactions of strangers, none of those are in your control. But how you show up, how you treat people, how you manage your time, that's all you. And that's more than enough to build something great. Real growth doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from mastering yourself, your focus, your emotions, your choices, your follow-through. That's the foundation. That's where the real progress is made. Not in the loud moments, but in the quiet ones, when no one is watching and you choose to take the right action anyway. This is about ownership. It's about taking full responsibility for what's in front of you. When things go wrong, don't blame. When things get hard, don't quit. When things feel slow, don't stop. Just go back to your center. Ask yourself, what can I control right now? Then do that. That single question can bring clarity in chaos. It can bring peace in pressure. It can keep you moving forward when everything else says stop. Over time, choosing actions you can control gives you freedom. Because now you're no longer tied to outcomes. You're tied to effort. You're not waiting on things to go right. You're making the right moves, regardless. And that's how you start building a life that lasts. A life that's not shaken every time the world shifts. A life that's built on steady steps, taken with intention, owned by you. Your power is in your ability to act, not to wish. It's in what you do when the spotlight's off. It's in how you carry yourself when no one is clapping. It's in the discipline to keep doing the work, even when the world seems quiet. Because your future won't be built by luck. It'll be built by choices you make when you could have made excuses. Every time you act on what you can control, you prove to yourself that you're capable, that you're resilient, that you don't need everything to go right. You just need to do what's right, one decision at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time. You don't need more advice. You need more action. You don't need everything figured out. You just need to do the thing that's in your control today. It's simple, it's powerful, and it works. Focus there, live there. Build your life from there, because that's where your real strength lives. And once you start owning it, nothing can stop you. Number 8, break big dreams into clear daily behaviors. You don't get the life you dream about by dreaming harder. You get it by turning that dream into something you can do today. Big dreams are beautiful. They excite us, they push us forward, but they're also heavy. And if you only focus on how far you have to go, you'll freeze, you'll get overwhelmed. You'll tell yourself you're not ready yet. And that's how people go another year with nothing to show for it. What changes everything is when you take that big vision and translate it into clear daily behavior you can follow no matter how you feel. You can't run from the truth. If what you want is massive, the way you act has to change. And not once, not for a few weeks. It has to change daily. There's no shortcut. If you want a strong body, you need a plan that tells you exactly what to do each day. If you want to grow your income, you need a system that tracks how you spend your hours. If you want peace of mind, you need daily routines that ground you. Dreams stay stuck when there's no process to reach them. Here's the question most people avoid asking. What does your dream actually require of you? Not in theory, not in the future. Today, right now. If you want to write a book, are you writing one page every day? If you want to be debt-free, are you reviewing your spending every week? If you want better relationships, are you making time to call, listen, connect? It's not enough to wish. You need to translate that wish into behavior. A dream without structure becomes a burden, but a dream with a system becomes a mission. Start with this simple shift. Stop measuring success by how big the dream is. Start measuring success by how clear your next step is. That's the difference between people who make it and people who don't. The ones who succeed are not the ones with the loudest goals. They're the ones with the clearest actions. They know exactly what to do today. They don't get stuck thinking about what the result will look like in a year. They get to work, they move, they follow through. It's easy to say you want change, but are your actions built to support it? Are they repeatable? Are they sustainable? Are they real, not just exciting? You can't rely on hype. You need structure. You need to wake up knowing what to do next. That removes the guesswork. That kills procrastination. That keeps your momentum going even on the hard days. And those hard days will come, but when your behavior is clear, you don't fall off track. You adjust and keep moving. The reason most people quit isn't because they're weak, it's because their plan is vague. Get in shape means nothing if you don't know what your workouts look like. Grow your business means nothing if you're not tracking calls or client outreach. Be more focused is just a phrase unless you've blocked out your calendar. You don't need perfect plans, you need real ones. You need actions that you can see, schedule, and do. That's where your confidence grows. Start thinking in terms of actions per day. What does success look like today? Not next month, not next year. Break it down. Reduce it until it's so clear you could explain it to an 11-year-old. That's not dumbing it down. That's making it doable. That's turning something massive into something human. Big visions are great, but the real power is in the follow-through. And you follow through best when your plan is simple, specific, and daily. Don't wait for the perfect time to start. Use what you have now and build from there. You don't need fancy tools. You don't need 10 new books. You need direction. You need decisions. And you need discipline. One of the most powerful things you can do today is ask, what are the 3 behaviors I must do every single day to move this dream forward? Then commit, track it, honor it, repeat it. Those behaviors become your bridge from where you are to where you want to be. You'll notice something powerful once you stick to clear daily actions. The gap between thinking and doing gets smaller. You start spending less time in your head and more time in motion. You stop worrying about the outcome because your attention is on the process. And that's where real growth happens. Not in fantasy, but in repetition. Not in talking about what you'll do, but in actually doing it. You don't need to crush it every day. You just need to show up with clarity. You need to know what done looks like each day. Maybe that's writing 500 words. Maybe that's making 2 sales calls. Maybe that's eating clean for 1 meal. Keep it real. Keep it tight. Keep it consistent. That's where the wins start stacking. That's where your belief in yourself starts changing. Not through hype, but through execution. It's easy to be inspired for a weekend. What changes your life is what you do every Monday morning, and every Tuesday when you're tired, and every Thursday when no one is cheering you on. That's why clear daily behaviors matter more than motivation. They don't rely on mood. They don't care how you feel. They keep you grounded. They move the needle. They build the future you say you want. If you've been stuck, it's probably not because your dream is too big. It's because your actions are too vague. Change that. Map out what needs to happen this week. Make it visible. Make it trackable. Make it something you can finish today. When your actions are clear, your direction is stronger. When your direction is stronger, your progress becomes real. And when your progress becomes real, your dream doesn't feel far. It feels close. because now you're doing the work that brings it near. Don't overthink the strategy. Don't drown yourself in information. Just move. Choose 3 things you can do today that bring your dream to life in a small but powerful way. Then do them again tomorrow. Then again the next day. Those repetitions will separate you from the crowd. Not everyone is willing to break their big dreams into small, humble, consistent actions. But the ones who do, those are the ones who cross the finish line. Clarity beats complexity. Execution beats intention. Systems beat hype. And the people who change their lives are the ones who respect the process enough to live inside it. Every day, no matter how they feel. You don't need more inspiration. You need more application. And it starts right now. Ask yourself, what is my dream asking me to do today? Then do that. Not perfectly, not dramatically, just clearly. Over time, those daily actions will take you farther than you ever imagined. That's how you take the dream out of your head and build it with your hands. That's how real change is made. One behavior at a time. Done with purpose, done with focus, done with heart. Number 9, simplify your process so it works under stress. You must build a system that stays strong under pressure and works even when things get hard. Stress will come, and your life will throw curveballs. If your process is too complicated, you'll abandon it the moment you feel or fail. But if your system is simple, clear, and flexible, it becomes your anchor when everything else feels shaky. That clarity under pressure is not just helpful, it's essential. Stress doesn't add time to your day, but it does shrink your energy and your focus. In those moments, confusion wins. That's why you must design a process that requires zero thinking. It must be so basic that you can do it even when your mind is spinning and your body is tired. That's when simplicity becomes your strongest strategy. Not because it's lazy, but because it's smart. Smart people plan for the hard days, not just the easy ones. Think about routines that fall apart under stress. If you require an hour of reading before bed, but your day spills into the night, you'll skip it. If your habit needs perfect conditions, you'll stop when life gets messy. A process like that is emotionally fragile, but a simplified system has built-in tolerance. It works if you get 5 minutes. It works if your energy is low. It works because it's designed for real life, not just ideal moments. Stress doesn't excuse you, it tests you. And when your process is too complex, it fails the test. But when your process is streamlined, it stands tall. You don't need more instructions. You need fewer. You don't need more steps. You need clearer ones. You don't need more fancy tools. You need one simple action you can repeat under pressure. That's how you maintain progress even when the world pushes back. The most effective systems aren't born in calm, they're forged in chaos. They are the ones that remain doable when you're drained. They're reliable when your mind is heavy. They don't rely on motivation or perfect conditions. They rely on simplicity. They rely on structure. They rely on choosing the smallest possible action that still moves you forward. That's how you win when stress comes. When you simplify your process, you remove friction. You remove excuses. You make the path clear. Every unnecessary step you add makes it easier to bail when pressure builds. But every layer you remove brings clarity and momentum. Under stress, your mind narrows. You stop thinking ahead. You focus on survival. That's why your process must be built for survival too. Maybe it's 5 minutes of writing instead of 1 hour. Maybe it's one meaningful conversation rather than a list of tasks. Maybe it's focusing on breathing before you tackle the to-do list. These simplified habits don't demand energy. They preserve it. They keep you in motion without burning you out. The goal isn't complexity. The goal is sustainability. You want a process that works not just on your best days, but on your worst days. You want a system that doesn't ask more than you can give in tough moments. You want something so simple that doing it even under pressure feels like relief, not resistance. Because when stress hits, clarity calms, and calm enables action. You don't need endless options. You need one path. You don't need big packages. You need essential routines. You don't need perfect timing. You need repeatable behavior. Simplification is freedom. It frees you from decision fatigue. It frees you from excuses. It frees you to focus on what matters. Action that counts even when things are messy. You don't have to overhaul everything. You just need to ask, what step can I do today, no matter how I feel? How little can the action be and still move me forward? How minimal can I keep my process and still make a difference? Then commit to that. Follow through and let that simplicity carry you forward, day by day. In moments of stress, you don't need complexity to save you. You need clarity. You need structure. You need a process. So lean it cannot give up on you. That is where real strength lies. Because strength isn't how much you can hold when you're calm. It's how little you need when you're not. When stress hits again, and it will, you'll win not because you feel strong, but because your system is built to outlast weakness. That is how you stay consistent. That is how you honor your vision even when life isn't neat. That is how you transform not when everything goes well, but when everything pushes back. So simplify. Strip down your process. Focus on what you can do, not what feels right. Make your habits tiny and tough. Refine, refocus, and test them in real life. The simpler your system, the more it works under stress. And when you can rely on that, you're unstoppable. Number 10, adjust your system when life throws changes at you. You don't fail because life changes. You fail because you refuse to change with life. Everything in your world can shift at any moment. Relationships change, circumstances shift, health takes unexpected turns, work adjusts. That's the nature of reality. If your system stays rigid when everything around you changes, then it will crack. But if your system flexes, adapts, and grows with you, you stay on course even when your world moves. That's power. And it's available when you decide your structure can evolve. You may have built a system that worked fine last month, but this month life looks different. Maybe your schedule shifted. Maybe stress increased. Maybe your energy dropped. That doesn't mean your goals are wrong. It means the approach needs adjusting. You don't scrap your vision, you refine your system. That shift is not failure, it's strategy. It's how winners stay consistent through seasons of change. A system that never adjusts is brittle. It breaks when pressure builds. But a flexible system is steady. It changes direction without losing momentum. When life throws a curveball, you have two choices. Fight against reality or adapt your structure. Only one option keeps you moving forward. That's the one you must choose. Adjustment doesn't mean chaos. It means making clear changes that keep you aligned with your vision. You evaluate what's still working and what needs to change. You look at your habits and ask, does this still fit today? If not, you tweak it. You don't quit. You redesign. You keep going. That's how long-term progress survives life's upheaval. The key is awareness. You need to notice when a habit becomes unmanageable. When you're constantly skipping it or dreading it, that's a signal. Not that you're weak, but that your structure is outdated. Your job is to redesign it so that it fits what you actually have. Life doesn't wait for your system to catch up. You need to catch it. And that requires honesty. You ask questions, you observe, you adjust. Maybe you used to write every morning at 6, but now your mornings are filled with another responsibility. You don't abandon writing. You adjust, for example, you write for 15 minutes at night instead. That shift keeps the behavior alive. It honors the vision. You still write daily, you still build momentum, and you keep evolving without losing progress. Change requires creativity. It requires humility. You do what works, not what looks impressive. The best systems are not rigid routines. They are living structures that listen to life. They don't punish you when demands shift. They respond, they flex, they adapt. That kind of system doesn't just survive change. It thrives on it. Sometimes adjustment is about scaling down, not giving up. When time shrinks, you reduce the commitment but maintain the behavior. When stress increases, you make the habit lighter, but not optional. When energy drops, you slow down without stopping. That's not quitting, that's strategy. It keeps the core alive even if the form changes. You also need to keep your heart in it. Changes don't mean your vision is wrong. They mean your system needs to catch up. You don't lose belief. You channel that belief into more realistic behavior today. You keep your emotions aligned with action because your system is designed to match reality. That alignment is what keeps you motivated through stormy seasons. Adjustment isn't a one-time event. Life changes again and again and again, so your system should not be fixed. It should be reviewed regularly, maybe weekly, maybe monthly. Take time to check what's working, what's not, what needs to shift, then act. You refine, you tweak, you iterate. That ongoing process keeps your habits alive and relevant. The alternative is stagnation. You stop responding, you'll get stuck in routines that don't serve you. You lose trust in your own structure. You begin to question your capacity. You forget that systems are tools, not idols. They're meant to serve, not constrain. And when they stop serving, they must change. Adapting your system also honors your human experience. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to grow in different seasons. You're allowed to change pace. Your personal life cycles shift. Your energy, resources, time, all these ebb and flow. You don't deny that. You embrace that. You build structures that can shift too. You don't have to design perfectly up front. You design something that works today. Then you monitor it. Then you modify it when needed. That's powerful. That's practical. That's real life. That's how progress stays alive. You might worry that adjusting your system is making excuses. But the truth is, you're not giving up. You're leaning in. You're committed to the vision, not the original form. You're faithful to the fuss in a way that respects reality. That's maturity. That's wisdom. That's what changes lives. You'll never win if you keep comparing your current system to someone else's perfect timeline. Life doesn't work in timelines. It works in seasons. And seasons demand flexibility. You don't stay stuck because your process worked for someone else last year. You evolve your system so it fits your season today. Resilience is an accident. It's design. It's a structure that shifts without collapsing. It's a system that bends under pressure, not cracks. That's the power of adjustment. That's your safeguard. That's how you preserve momentum when life doesn't pause. You don't fail seasons, you adapt. You refine your tools. You keep your identity alive. You maintain direction. You survive transitions. You honor your commitments. You keep moving. That momentum built in seasons past doesn't vanish. It continues through clarity and adaptability. That's how winners protect their potential. They don't freeze when life changes. They pivot their system. They stay in trajectory. They keep showing up. They keep one foot moving. They keep their vision alive by making their habits alive, even if the way looks different today. So if your system feels heavy or outdated, don't blame yourself. Just adjust. Strip what doesn't fit. Add what does. Keep the core. Change the container. Let your structure reflect the season you're in. That's how you win through change. That's how you build a life that adapts and endures. That's how you make your system truly work.